recording here. We're going to sit back on our heels in child's pose. Arms are reaching forward. I want you to really try to press your chest towards the floor here. Go ahead and relax your forehead to your mat. Releasing your mind of any thoughts outside of your space, your current practice. Keeping your forehead relaxed on your mat, let's go ahead and link our fingers together behind us. Pulling away from our body, maybe letting those hands fall towards your head. Bringing those fingers down towards your bottom, unlinking your fingers. Let's go ahead and walk over to one side. Hold here for a few breaths. And walking those hands over through the center, over to the other side. Bringing those hands to center. Let's go ahead and walk our hands towards our body. We're going to keep sitting on our feet. So if you need to adjust this position, you can bring a pillow, place it between your bottom and your heels. I don't want you to compromise by dropping your chest. I want you to sit up, making adjustments as needed. Reaching, actually, you know what? Let me face this way so you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to reach opposite elbow, opposite hands, just sitting here for a few breaths. I want you to control your hip movement, not letting those hips roll or roll out, keeping your whole spine stacked. Go ahead and release, shaking out those shoulders, placing your hand on one side, reaching over to the other side. Rather than letting your head rest on your shoulder shrug up, go ahead and tuck that elbow into your body if you'd like a deeper stretch. Inhale through the center, exhale over to the other side. Inhale back to center. I'm going to turn to the side now. You can stay where you're at. This is just so you have different angles to see me. We're going to reach both arms forward, reach one arm back, open opposite directions here with your fingertips, feeling your chest opening. If you're up for the challenge, go ahead and place that back hand, wrap it behind your lower back. Extending that hand if it is not already, let's go ahead and reach both arms forward. Opposite arm reaches back. Lengthen through the fingertips here. Again, if you're up for more of a challenge, wrapping that back arm behind your lower back, using it to open your chest a little bit further. Go ahead and release. Bring both arms forward, shake out those shoulders. We're going to sit back on our bottoms, bringing those feet out in front of us here. We're going to open one side. So let's go ahead and bring the inside of your foot over to the thigh. So it kind of looks like a figure 4 here. Bringing those arms up, you can choose to reach for that foot. You can kind of hinge as far as you can forward, or maybe you're using a yoga strap or something in place of a yoga strap. Using today is more of a stretch day. Gives us the opportunity to get in tune with our body. Go ahead and lift it up, bringing that foot flat to the floor. We're going to wrap or cross over. Bringing that elbow to the outside of your knee. So foot is flat on the floor today. We usually cross it over our leg. A little bit different. Slowly rotating back towards the center. We're going to hug that knee into our chest. Keeping that foot on the floor. Here's a challenge for you all. We're going to work those hip flexor muscles and try to get that foot off the floor. Very good. Just try that a few times. Maybe you're just a little bit off the floor. Maybe you're still working on getting that leg off the floor. Once you've gave it a few shots, let's go ahead and switch over to the other side, extending that leg. Opposite leg, foot comes to the inside of your thigh and reaching for that foot. Slowly go ahead and lift it back up, bringing that foot flat to the floor and crossing over, driving that elbow into your leg to get a greater twist. Go ahead and rotate back to center, hugging that knee into your chest, sitting up nice and tall. Here's your chance to try to get that foot off the floor with the other leg this time. Just give it a few. Great job. Once you're done, we're going to swing those feet back behind us, opening those knees to the outside of our mat. Not my greatest transition, but that's okay. Toes are together, sitting back in our frog, rocking those hips side to side, giving those hips a chance to open. Inhale, shifting our weight forward, adjusting those knees back in line with our hips. Tucking our toes under. Let's go ahead and lift our hips into downward dog. Lift those knees, push those hips back. Really press your head through your shoulders. Give it a few moments to get into this position. Maybe you're walking your feet. Maybe you're wagging your tail a little bit. Bringing your gaze up towards your hands, hopping or stepping your feet forward, holding this forward fold for a few breaths. Lengthening through the spine as you lift into standing. Arms reach overhead. Exhale your arms to your sides. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. And exhale. Going into our tree pose or balance pose of the day. We're going to pick your leg that you want to start with. I'm going to start with my right leg. If you're mirroring me, it's your left. Opening up the inside of your thigh with your other foot, just hitching your toe on the floor. Just like on Monday, I don't want you to sink or sit into this stance. I want you to keep those hips level. If you're up for the challenge, you can take that foot off the floor, place it on your calf, or maybe you want to bring it up to your thigh as long as it's not pressing against your knee. So you don't want it to press against your joint. Bringing your gaze to something in the room that's not moving to help balance. Let's go ahead and take that foot away. Bring that foot forward and release. Shake it out if you need to. Let's get ready for that same thing on the other side. Starting with that foot just hitched, inside of your foot or knee is open towards me. If you're up for the challenge, bringing that foot up or maybe up towards your thigh. Want you to plant that foot into the floor. Imagine it's the root of your tree. Use your toes. Let's go ahead and bring that foot off your leg. Bring your knee back to center and release. Great job, everyone. Placing your hands on your thighs, let's go ahead and push those hips back. Slight bend through the knees. Shoulders are pulled back. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, I want you to drop your chest towards your legs. Keeping that slight bend through the knees. Maybe you want a deeper stretch, go ahead and extend. Let's step back with our right foot. Left foot stays forward. Make adjustments here. In that runner's lunge position. Holding for a few breaths. Gently releasing that knee behind you. We're going to take those hands away, lifting up. Placing those hands on your hips. So I want your middle finger on your hip bones and your thumb behind you. Using your thumb, I want you to kind of tuck those hips under. So your thumb's behind you and it's pushing those hips under. So you should feel that here in the psoas or your hip flexor. If you want a little bit more, then you can hinge forward. But I want you to keep that tucked position. Let's go ahead and bring it back. Place those hands on either side of your leg. Pull your hips back, toes towards your shin. Let's get the front of that leg here for a second. Bringing our weight forward, placing our hands on the inside of that front leg. Let's go ahead and tuck that toe under, lifting back into that runner's lunge, this time with our hands on the inside. What I want you to do is kind of pick up that front leg, open the inside of that leg, placing the outside of your leg on your mat. So maybe you're sitting back, maybe you kind of have to open up a little bit. You can tuck that back foot under, or if you're able to keep those hips parallel to the floor or facing the floor. I'm not good with my words today. Excuse me. It's been a long tech day. You have the option to hinge at the hips here. You've been with me long enough. You know what I'm trying to say. Pressing yourself back to your hands, tucking your toe under, lifting your hips and knee at the same time to step back into plank. Let's go ahead and release to those knees. Sit back on your heels in child's pose. Getting ready for the other side. Kind of tuning into your body here. When you're ready, let's go ahead and shift forward. Tucking those toes under, lifting your knees up and hips back into your downward dog. Bringing your gaze up towards your hands so that you can hop or step forward. This time, left foot steps back, right foot stays forward, holding that runner's lunge for a few breaths. Gently releasing that back knee to your mat, lifting it up. Again, we're going to place those hands on our hips. Middle finger is on that hip bone. Thumb is behind us, using our thumb to tuck that hip under. If from here you can take that a little bit forward, then you can hinge, or then you can kind of shift forward a little bit. Placing those hands on the inside of your leg. Let's go ahead and extend that front leg. Toes come towards your shin. Shifting our foot flat to the floor, lifting that back knee off the floor into that runner's lunge. Let's go ahead and adjust that hand to the inside of our leg. Bringing that back knee back down to the mat, opening up the inside of that front foot, outside of our leg releases to the floor. Again, you can tuck that back leg towards your body to modify. Option to release to those forearms. Let's slowly press ourselves back up, tucking that back toe under so that we can lift our hips and knee into our chest. Step back into that plank position. Gently release to those knees and sit back into child's pose one more time. Bringing those hands below your shoulders, using them to press yourself up. Let's go ahead and scoot back onto our glutes. Feet facing forward. This time we're going to keep both feet forward. Arms reach up. Hinging into that forward fold, seated forward fold. Again, you're welcome to use your yoga strap. Slowly rolling yourself up. Bring those feet flat to the floor. Let's go ahead and release down to our mat. Nice and slow and controlled. We're going to cross over for that figure four. So opening up the inside of your thigh, outside of your ankle crosses over to your bent leg. Hugging from under on your thigh here. So you have the option to stay here if you want to take it a little bit further. You're going to wrap one arm under, holding onto your foot with the other hand, and bring your leg out in front of you. Go ahead and gently release, bringing that knee back to center. Option to extend that leg, reaching from under your thigh, your calf, or maybe your ankle. Let's go ahead and tuck that knee back into our chest, placing that foot flat on the floor. Crossing over for that figure four on the other side. Hugging that from under on our thigh into that figure four. If you want to take this a step further, you're going to wrap one leg under, holding onto your foot with the other arm, and extend your leg out in front of you. Bringing that knee back to center. Option to extend that leg, reaching from under your thigh, your calf, or maybe your ankle. Let's go ahead and bring that knee back into our chest one more time, placing that foot on the floor before extending that leg out in front of you. Let's go ahead and relax our eyes. Really taking our focus over to our breath, releasing any tension in your face, your hands, your shoulders. Starting to add small movements back in your fingers and your toes. Rocking your head side to side. Eventually bringing those feet flat to the floor. And rolling over to one side. Take your time to open your eyes. Slowly pressing yourself into your comfortable seated position. I want you to take a big inhale, shoulders shrug to your ears. Exhale, relax the tension in your shoulders. Finishing with our deep breaths. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, arms to your sides. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time, bringing those hands into prayer. Exhale, hands to heart. Namaste. Don't forget, we have our Corvallis Fitness Party tomorrow at 11 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have questions, please let me know. If you don't have it on your calendar and you want to attend, please let me know. I'm happy to invite you. Families are welcome and encouraged. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you on Monday. Thank you, Joyce. Thanks, Rick.